Well, hello, Cy.
Hey, y'all, welcome to Cross Politic. Good to be with you. Make sure you share the show. Already spilling my coffee.
It's your coffee.
Pastor Toby Chalk Knox, the water boy, and of course, our brother Cy, Tim Bruton King.
Hold on one second.
What?
Did you spill coffee on the Bible?
He did. He did.
That's okay. It's a New King James.
Whoa! Whoa!
I grabbed the wrong
King
mug.
James?
Bro.
I was just trying to hide my St. Arbuck's coffee with your
Yeah,
mug.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Are y'all keeping the feast?
Keeping the feast?
Join us as we read through the Bible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go to christkirk.com. You can download it. We're going through the Bible in 9 months, actually.
Yeah, the whole Bible.
So stay with us
Is it
on
9
that.
months?
9 months, yeah.
We're like just we're just stuffing it. Just in.
Okay, I'm in.
Secondly, if you
Bible,
guys...
Bible.
Exactly.
Where can you do that at?
It's so good. christkirk.com.
Okay.
You'll find the link.
Bible
somewhere
reading
in there.
challenge.
Yeah.
Bible
Keep
reading
the
challenge.
feast. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Genesis
it's-
and John.
I mean, you're right. You're reading 6 chapters, 7 chapters
Crank
in
it.
a setting. It's really good.
You know,
I'll have to-
the
you gonna
Christ
take that with you.
The Christ Kirk app is also really awesome. If you go look for Christ Kirk KRK
Yep.
on the App Store,
Yep.
their app has the Bible reading challenge on it, and there's a little.
So I don't have to use YouVersion
Hey,
anymore?
whoa.
on the
Our
bottom-
app is going to have the Bible reading channel on it.
Okay, cool. But until we have an app,
Gabe.
just click on Keep the Feast.
Yeah.
And it has the readings for every day, and it has also audio.
Oh, wow.
So you can listen to it
Yeah.
every day
Fantastic.
too. So, you know,
Yeah.
you can.
Can I get it on my flip phone?
Oh, no.
It's not smart enough.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I don't know how those things work.
It's not smart.
Hey,
don't know how
if
those
you
things
got
work.
construction skills and you want to move to Moscow, go to elyconstruction.com.
That's not filled yet.
Nathaniel Ely, it's not filled yet. These things take time. He's got to get the right candidate. He's got to get someone who loves construction
And
someone
loves cross-politic.
and loves cross politic, which is hard to find.
You would think someone loves their family enough to move
Yep.
to Moscow.
Yeah, right.
So if you know how to build a house
there
from the
it is,
ground
right
up,
there.
go to
Ely.
elyconstruction.com and /lead. Okay. We're also going to be at ReformCon.
What, Cy? Is Cy gonna
Was
be there?
Cy's going to be? Are you going to be at ReformCon?
No.
Oh,
I'm gonna
sorry.
be-
I didn't get an
India.
invite. My bad.
India. He's going to India.
Oh.
October 24th through the 26th. We'll be there. Toby will be speaking. We'll be doing a show with the Sheologians.
Oh, that's fun.
And then lastly, we're going to be at Trinity Church conference, fall conference, November 1st and 2nd.
That's in Seattle.
In Seattle. Go to this link on the screen. We'll throw it up on the screen.
TrinityKirk.org.
November 1st and 2nd. It's
Fall conference.
Christ over politics, Jesus over politics. We're excited to be there.
I'm looking forward to
For
being
everybody
there.
who's listening, could you read that link again?
TrinityKirk.org/fall-conference-2019
Yeah.
/
Or just go to TrinityKirk.org, and I'm sure there's a link on
Then
the
why didn't you
page.
just put that anyway?
Well, just I don't know, man. And hey, join the club. We got pints still available. My kids, at the end of every month, we pack a bunch. We do a bunch of. We get them all that we get.
Yeah.
I get all my kids lined up. We pack all the pints and we ship them out.
Become a member.
Yeah.
Get a free pint along with all the other like merch and perks and stuff that go
comes
with
with it.
membership.
Can I just want to highlight a few of those things real quick. So Proverbs with Pastor Toby, I'm telling you guys, you have to get it. It is one of those things that I'm going to tell myself, God in the last few years has just been discipling me. And Proverbs with Pastor Toby, close your ears, you don't want to hear it, has been one of those tools that is just wisdom for kings. It's actually in the title for a reason. It really is wisdom for kings. It's one of those things that the membership is far more valuable because of it.
Yeah.
But also we have
Baptism is
Baptism
not
is not
enough.
enough. The film that's there as well.
Yes.
Kind of answered I wanted that, but you put it out there for free, which is really good.
The Dutch price.
Yeah. Shotgun Worldview series. So good. I mean, just
We should mention that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, it's been a while since we've really pushed that, but we did this how long ago did we do that? A year ago?
Yeah.
Year, yeah.
Oh my
years.
goodness.
Probably
A
2
year and a
years.
half.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Anyways, when we have a lot of people asking, like, so what's the worldview backdrop of what you guys are doing?
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
Right.
And so we did this. It's 10 sessions. It's kind of high octane,
Yeah.
drinking from the fire hose. Like
Right.
this is what the Bible says. So if you want to figure out like where are they coming from? What's their worldview?
Great
the
foundation.
Worldview Shotgun series is where it's at.
And lastly, on the club membership thing, the reason we've done all this, we've been at this for 3 years without having a full-time paid staff on Cross Politic. And so our goal through the membership is to be able to eventually bring me and David on, have full-time paid staff to be able to do what we're doing. And that
I just want to say, for the purpose of creating content for Christians.
Yes.
Solid biblical content that doesn't just stop at things that are didactic. We're talking about sports. We're talking about cooking. We're talking, you name the genres, you go down, we want all of that inside of the network.
Of
And
what
so
we're doing. Yep.
signing up for the membership is helping us build that out.
Yep. And, and huge thanks to everybody that's already joined.
Wow.
You guys are awesome.
So much.
Love you guys. Okay, let's get into some news. So this last week, it's interesting that these both kind of came out in the last couple weeks. Weinstein is going to court. If you remember that happened, that came out about a year and a half ago. Harvey Weinstein's going to court.
Yep.
And so we got a little interview with his lawyer, which is interesting. And then the Kavanaugh stuff has kind of
Kavanaugh.
It's kind of got new life because these two New York Times journalists have been writing a book about Kavanaugh, and they started releasing some stuff, and they went on interviews.
They wrote a book about Kavanaugh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Kavanaugh.
Let's start with
Wouldn't
the lawyer
it be
here.
Kavanaugh, hey, goodbye? I'm a
I've
hockey
heard you
fan.
say that you're not really a believer or supporter of the Me Too movement.
Yeah, it's more of a supporter. Mm-hmm. I think in many ways there are good things about Me Too, and I've said this, but what bothers me about Me Too, it allows the court of public opinion to take over the narrative. And when you can't come out and then either correct or challenge that narrative, it puts you in a position where you're stripped of your rights.
Court of public opinion.
You know, that sounds like guilty until proven innocent.
Right.
Instead of innocent
until proven guilty. Yeah. Right. I mean, but seriously.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
It was on CBS.
Yeah, it's incredible.
That somebody's just out there saying, you guys, maybe we should care about the truth.
Yeah.
Maybe the mob isn't going to give us justice.
That's right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Surprise. And it's coming from his lawyer, from
Harvey Weinstein's lawyer?
This is hard to swallow.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Is there more?
Harvey's a grimy dude.
Oh.
And you got this lawyer.
And lawyers by nature are grimy.
I know, but
that was actually pretty good.
She's like, I don't know about this Me Too thing, guys.
Yeah, well, listen to this.
In the Bill Cosby case, it was involving one woman, but other women who were charged, who had made allegations, were allowed to testify. And that seemed to have made a decision in the verdict for the jury, certainly in the second case. Are you concerned about that?
Sure, I think there's always a concern about those things. I think the notion of where there's smoke, there's fire is always something that we have to worry about.
This is more than fire, though, Donna. This is an inferno when it comes to Harvey.
Well, I think that when you look at the criminal case, I don't think that that's the case. I'm not here to say that he was not guilty of committing sins. I'm not here to say that at all, but there's a difference between sins and crimes. Ooh. And I don't think he's a rapist. I do not believe he's a rapist.
Difference between sins and crimes.
She's a theonomist.
Exactly.
Oh,
how do you work in those in a secular world? How did she get to those categories? That's incredible.
That's what I want to know. Who is Donna? What's your last name? Donna. I forgot her last.
It'll come up in the next clip.
She's.
Did she just say that?
She just said, "I am not saying he's not guilty of sins.
Yeah. He's a slimy dude.
But there's a difference between sins and crimes."
Has she been listening to Cross Politics?
I think she's been listening to Cross Politics.
Nah.
Let's get more of this. Let's get the picture going here.
Do you ever worry that you're making it harder for women who have been sexually harassed, assaulted, raped to come forward?
No, I would hope that I'm making it easier for them. I would hope that doing what I'm doing makes them realize they have choices, and if they really are in a position that they feel uncomfortable, then the first thing they should do is report it. They should go to the police, and I think that sort of weeding out the cases that don't rise to the level of real assaults should help real victims. So no, I think I'm helping them, actually.
So how does that work?
In those three clips, we have heard more biblical truth about biblical justice than I have heard in mainstream media
or evangelical.
Maybe my entire life.
You know where she's going to be at next, don't you?
Where?
The next Southern Baptist Convention. They're going to give her a place on the stage? Right next to Rachel Denhollander.
But check this out. So, due process, that was the first clip. Yep. This is all one interview. We chopped it up for you guys, but so you can go find it online, CBS.
Yep. It's on YouTube. You find it.
This morning. But due process was the first thing.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why she's not a big fan of Me Too is because it tends to create a bunch of smoke.
It's a mob rule smoking.
And it doesn't necessarily mean there's fire, right? Yeah. And it's not due process. If you can't come out afterwards and exonerate somebody based on the actual facts, then something's gone terribly wrong. Right. Okay. Number two, a distinction between sins and crimes.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
That she's saying that. Seriously, I mean, the SBC should hire this guy.
Yeah. Seriously, that's crazy. You know what's amazing to me is that when I saw this, I said, maybe this isn't as covered as I'd like to think it is. Maybe this is far more open.
What do you mean?
The problem, that's information. She's not that I can tell. From what I can tell about her, she's not a Christian.
I don't know
she's
about that.
She's a bulldog in one way.
I don't know.
I've tried to find something.
Who talks about sin?
A person who's trying to get somebody off of a case.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though.
Maybe.
But here's the deal, though.
I like your cynicism.
Yeah,
I do.
But I think, though, that it's far more open. This is far more obvious than what I like to think it is.
Maybe.
But maybe. Let's just say my position, I think it might be. The problem is not that it's not out there. It's that we're too blind to see it. I think the blinding part might be us. Our American judicial system has this written all over. You can't do law in America without understanding this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing is, I mean, our society has gotten so litigious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything that is offensive, that somebody thinks is a sin, thinks it ought to be a crime.
Yeah.
Make a law about
it. When did the left start being concerned with sin? Because the thing is, if the left does those things, they celebrate them. You know, a woman says, yeah, I slept my way to the top, my body, my choice.
Yeah.
Right.
But when the right does it, now they're concerned with sin all of a sudden. I don't get it. It's inconsistent.
Because now it's a power grab to become a victim. See, that's where the power is now. The way that critical theories come in, power comes in victimhood.
Right, yeah.
And so how can I grab power? More power. Oh, I know. I'm a victim now, too. I didn't even know that was a status for me.
The last thing she says that's really, really significant is exactly right. Gail asks her, aren't you making it harder for real victims? And she says, no, I'm not. Because what I'm doing, she says, first of all, if you think something bad has happened, report it. Yeah. Number one, report it.
Don't wait 5 years.
Don't wait 5 years. Don't wait 30 years. Report it right away. Yeah. And then the second thing that she says that's really clear is we need to distinguish between real crimes and other kinds of allegations, either sins or just false allegations. But when you weed that out, what you're doing is you're actually making it more likely that real victims will get real justice.
Right.
Because rather than it being just this mob thing,
right,
where you're left in a mob, you're left in a crowd. Yeah. When it's a mob, it's just about emotions and about venting.
Right.
It's not about actually considering the facts of a case, considering them carefully, walking through the evidence and the testimony, and then actually executing justice.
Right.
And so she says, yes, by eliminating these sins, by eliminating these other false allegations, real victims get real justice. That's why she's not a big fan of Me Too.
And part of it, too, we've forgotten what justice is. Part of what justice is the restitution to the victim.
Yeah.
With mobs, they're like, we feel happy about what we did.
Heads on the pike.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how that's when a mob feels like they've got justice is there's been blood.
Yeah, that's right.
Every single time.
And one of the problems is with our judicial system that's happened, and as of, it's kind of been going on for a long time, is the state versus John. The state versus, no, that's not what it is. It's who is the victim.
Right.
The victim has assumed, the state has assumed the victim's position. It's like, no, who's the victim? Because that's who restitution needs to be paid to. And that's what the mob has done too, has done just that. The mob versus whoever this is.
Right.
And this isn't a defense of Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, no, it's
not at all.
And I don't even know the facts of the case. And I mean, maybe I'm the gullible, like, oh my goodness, she said sins and crimes, so she must be a good person.
I'm excited.
They said Jesus in their song, they must be Christians.
So, I'm like, Kanye's a Christian. Right?
That might be true.
Yeah, but
I'm gullible in essence.
But so I appreciate the pushback. And like, maybe maybe she's just a lawyer and she's lawyering.
Yeah. And
she's using this language to try to broker it, but she's not popular.
Here's why
people hate her.
Well, I don't think Christians are bold enough to take a case from Harvey Weinstein.
Right.
And so part of my issue is that the boldness of, I wish a Christian would be that kind of bold.
That's the thing.
Because here's the deal.
That's the thing.
What they do with Harvey Weinstein, they will do with you.
Exactly.
You cannot let false justice come out
and Christians should understand this.
Yeah.
This woman could be a godly woman. There's a way of being, and I don't mean necessarily her personally, but I mean, I hope she is. But what I'm saying is I think that a lawyer could be in her position as a godly woman,
right?
Who cares about justice,
right.
who is willing to make sure that a scumbag gets justice.
Yeah.
I think we would be clear too is that some of his sins should be crimes.
Yes.
Right. So we're not saying that
like adultery or
but that's based on our standards, not on the world standards.
Right. Yeah. If you're running a prostitution ring or whatever, so yeah, absolutely. And even though it might not actually be a crime on our books, biblically speaking,
there's like abortion.
There are crimes.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good.
Phew.
Doesn't a man have to take responsibility for his actions too?
No question.
And the choices that he makes?
No question. And I think that no matter what happens to Harvey Weinstein, he will pay the biggest price there is. Even if he wins, Gail, his whole life has been ruined, toppled, damaged, and whether it's by his own doing or others, that's the fact. And the fact is that no matter what we do, and we can walk out of that courtroom with a not guilty and walk him out onto those courtroom steps, and he never gets to be Harvey Weinstein ever again.
Speaking of ruining somebody's career, I mean, that's basically what they're trying to do with Kavanaugh.
Na 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 na
Na na na na.
Yeah.
Hey, goodbye.
I was thinking about that. Like,
You gotta
Harvey
change your
Weinstein,
song.
I'm not sympathetic to, in one sense. Like, you know, but if
well,
it was
in one sense, like she's right.
Yes,
Sin
right.
should destroy your life. It should destroy your reputation.
Yeah.
He's not trustworthy.
Right.
But
What you sow, you reap.
Yeah,
we've
exactly.
seen innocent men
Yeah.
go through this, and they can't ever get back what they've actually had before.
And it's a great example, though, of what she's talking about right here.
With Kavanaugh.
What happened with that omission that the Times later felt belonged in the piece?
Well, first of all, Lawrence, there was zero intent to mislead anybody about the details of the incident.
In your draft of the article, did it include those words that have since been added to the article?
It did.
It did. So somewhere in the editing process, those words were
Yeah,
trimmed.
I mean, I think what happened actually was that, we had her name, and the Times doesn't usually include the name of the victim. And so I think in this case, the editors felt like maybe it was probably better to remove it. And in removing her name, they removed the other reference to the fact that she didn't remember it.
And so in their removal of the name, they ended up removing
The whole
what follows it.
sentence, yes. And I mean, so I think it was just sort of an editing, done in the haste, in the editing process, as you know.
Well, actually, that story could be true. The New York Times is not what it used to be. It's perfectly believable that some half-asleep, politically inflamed editor at the paper would blow one of the most important stories of the year. It's not a very impressive news outlet anymore.
Okay.
Tucker's straight face.
Not an impressive news outlet anymore.
The former news outlet. So rewind real quick and give everybody the backdrop of what just happened.
All right, so the backdrop is these two ladies are writing a book on Kavanaugh.
It's out now.
It's out, and so now they're kind of doing their PR, going around doing their book tour. But they also really part of this was there's an article written in New York Times, not in the news piece,
an op-ed,
but it was in the news opinion op-ed piece. Okay, in New York Times. And that's important because they're saying it's not news, but it is news.
Yeah. Somebody's personal opinion, but it's not.
Yeah, that's right. And so in the new allegations that are kind of being tied into all this is that one of this is not said in the book at all. One of Bill Clinton's former lawyers back in the 90s came out with this information that he was at a party where Kavanaugh was at, and one of his friends took Kavanaugh, apparently had his pants down or something, took Kavanaugh's junk and shoved it into another lady's hands. I don't know how that even goes down, and so that's the new narrative. But the lady that they said that it was done to, she said, I don't recall that this ever happened.
Right,
and she's like, I don't also want to be interviewed about this either.
So
that's what was left out of
So in this news op-ed that these women write, the name got taken out, and what they're describing there is the fact that also this whole sentence got taken out, which said this witness, so-called victim, doesn't recall anything like this and doesn't want to talk about it and doesn't have anything to do with this.
Yes. Exactly.
Right. And that's why Tucker's all...
he's nailing it.
I don't get this story at all. I mean, if you believe in open carry and somebody takes your gun off your hip and puts it in somebody else's hand, how is that your problem?
Message.
Well, I think that's, to me, that's actually the story is just weird in the first place.
Because this is
They're grasping at straws.
This is smoke. This is smoke.
That's right.
We need more smoke, more smoke, because what they're trying to do is, because they don't have actual witnesses and actual evidence to take out Brett Kavanaugh, they're going to create enough smoke, they think, in order to try to create they're trying to do to him what was done to Harvey Weinstein.
And here's the other thing that they found out in Molly Hemingway is writing a book also.
Yeah.
And they interviewed Leland, who is Christine Blasey Ford's one of her best friends, apparently at the setting where Kavanaugh raped Ford back in high school. Okay, real quick. Go ahead.
Her name. This is the woman who was testifying, Blasey Ford.
in front of
yeah.
Blasey Ford.
Yeah, I assume everyone knows Ford's name at this point. But.
Yeah, she's the one who was testifying, to the Congress, to the Senate hearing last year that Kavanaugh had to respond to. You guys remember that? I just want to make sure everybody knows who we're talking about.
That's great. So in Molly Hemingway, just this last year, they're releasing a book too on all this on Kavanaugh, and they interviewed Leland, who was supposedly Christine's best friend, at the house when they were in high school, where Kavanaugh supposedly forced himself upon Ford. Yeah. And she said that she's like, I didn't trust her story. I don't remember it. I thought Ford was off, and I didn't. And then I had all these friends behind the background trying to pressure me to come forward with an altered narrative or altered story on behalf of Ford.
Right.
So there's two things I was thinking about. One of them is that what they're doing with Kavanaugh, I think, is far less. I think there's part of it, what you were saying, like, yeah, they're definitely trying to take him down. I think they're just trying to sell books. I think part of it is trying to sell books.
But I don't think it would have nearly the buy. The weird thing is I'm not even sure Kavanaugh is the threat.
There's a mic in front of you.
He did sound pretty distant.
I don't even think that Kavanaugh is the threat that the left thinks that he is.
No, I don't think so. I think he's more of a threat to us, honestly.
Yeah. Amen. I was going to say that.
Yeah, but that's not how they're talking.
No.
The crazy thing, though, is that the left keeps running the narrative that with his seating on the Supreme Court, Roe versus Wade is going to get overturned. I'm not even convinced of that at all. Right. I'm not putting any hope in that.
No, I don't think so.
But they keep running that narrative, and that's part of what's driving this.
Because they can make money off of it. You got two people who wrote books.
Yeah.
Two groups of people who wrote books, and they both owe Kavanaugh a check.
Okay?
Because they are making money off of his name.
Right.
And the best way to make money off of somebody's name is, this is the marketing and the cynical side of me, her marrying right now, is marketing.
Right.
You go out there, and what do? You make a huge blunder as a paper. Right? Huge blunder. It's a huge blunder.
But I'm also
Now, they are horrible at what they do. I'm granted. But this is huge. And it becomes a story that everybody all of a sudden brings back up all the stuff.
Right.
And guess what? We also have a book to sell you on it.
Yeah.
So there's shame.
Learn more. Buy it here, Amazon.
So I think I agree with you. I'm just wondering if you're not married, can marry these two together, and we're the ones who buy it.
It's the same thing with, like, the world is going to end because the Amazon fires are burning.
Yeah.
It's the climate, thing.
Buy my
book. Vote for me.
Get my package for how you can live well for the next 60
driving
days.
people by fear.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm also the naive Canadian. I step back and I say that this is still a shot at Trump because this is Trump's pick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll keep,
Interesting.
Yeah. No, I agree.
No, clearly they're going to keep bringing him up that he's a bad choice, and then ultimately it will get back.
Because they're trying to also pin the same kind of thing. They're saying, Trump's the same kind of creep,
right?
And he shouldn't be president.
And he picks guys like that.
And he picks people that he likes because they're like him,
right?
Yeah.
So the Kavanaugh thing is fraught with witnesses who don't recall
There's
any
no
of the
witnesses
events or weren't there, right?
What
no witnesses?
People who won't even be witnesses.
There are no witnesses. Yes.
And yet it's still getting traction. I can't help but think like there's a tie into our current church issues right now.
So Ford herself claims to be a witness. We should say.
Yeah,
but
no corroborating witnesses.
But the Bible is utterly clear. This is Deuteronomy chapter 19. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin, in any sin that he sinneth. At the mouth of two witnesses or the mouth of three witnesses shall the matter be established.
That's right.
Okay. It also says is if a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him, which is wrong, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before the Lord, before the priests and the judges, which shall be in those days. And the judges shall make diligent inquisition. And behold, if the witness be a false witness and hath testified falsely against his brother, then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shalt thou put the evil away from you, and those which remain shall hear and fear, and shall henceforth commit no more any such evil among you. And thine eye shall not pity, but life shall go for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot.
Yeah.
Okay? Which means that what you have, though, with Molly Hemingway's book is that you have a growing possibility of witnesses actually testifying that Ford is a false witness.
Yes, that's right.
Not only is there no corroborating evidence,
right.
but there's at least a growing sentiment that this is not even,
and
there's no truth to this.
The sad part of this is no one's bringing the charges against her.
Right, which is what needs to happen.
Yeah, no one's thinking that side of it. It's like, hold on, wait. I can't remember who said this. I stole it from somebody. In a situation like this where you have someone come forth and say, this person did this to me, immediately at that point, we have something going on that somebody's lying.
Right.
So there's a victim here.
Right.
That we don't necessarily know who the victim is yet. But it's starting to turn out that in this case, Kavanaugh might actually be the victim.
Right.
You know, and so that means that she needs to be prosecuted.
Exactly. And the sad thing, though, is that many people in the church are not seeing this clearly.
That's right.
People in the church are the ones who are imbibing the whole Me Too thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And thinking this is how justice is done.
Yes.
You tell your story. You know, whatever. And you get it out there on Twitter and you get it out there on the Facebooks and you get it into the news and you write a book and you basically get a mob going.
Yeah.
And this is specifically what we were trying to point out earlier with the problems we were seeing with the way that Rachel Denhollander was handling the Matt Chandler situation.
Right.
Yeah.
She's
with Boz Chivijan.
Yeah, and the real issue was remember we've noted this on the show and want to say it again. Rachel was a hero.
Yes.
In her testimony against the Olympic coach
Nasser.
Nasser. And we've said that openly and will continue to say that openly.
Yeah.
Her testimony there was glorious.
It
was glorious. It was a testimony to the gospel and she told the truth and the guy needs to get the book thrown at him for what he did.
Penalty.
And biblically speaking, we'd say, if we were practicing biblical justice, the death penalty.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I'm afraid she's taken up with people like Boz Chivijan.
Yeah.
Boz Chivijan is Grace Ministries is what it's called. And it's supposed to be a ministry helping churches adjudicate issues where sexual abuse has taken place. Unfortunately, that's not what Boz has actually done.
They're supposed to do what again?
Help churches where sexual abuse has taken place.
Okay. So they're operating biblically.
That's they're claiming to do.
Okay.
But he has a track record of not caring about facts.
So what are they doing with Matt Chandler's church?
Well, they sued him.
Okay.
They took him. They've sued him for $1 million for damages for a alleged sex abuse situation that happened with a staff member of the village church.
Right. And that's before the staff member has even gone before a actually civil court.
I think he's in the process.
He's in the process. But I'm saying they already started suing him before he wrapped up that. That's what
they're not suing him though. Are they just suing the church?
They're suing the church.
Suing the church.
The guy doesn't have any money, so why would you sue him?
So.
Right.
But they're supposed to be a biblical Christian organization.
Right.
Have they not read their Bible?
They took 1 Corinthians 6 and just ripped it right out of their Bible.
Yeah.
They know better than God.
I saw some of the interaction between Rachel Denhollander's husband on this subject, and it was really heartbreaking.
Right.
Because he said if churches are going to act like organizations, then they need to be treated like organizations.
If they're going to act like corporations.
Corporations, yeah.
Right.
But I'm sorry, sir, that's a church.
It is. It's a church of the Lord Jesus Christ.
There's a pastor.
Yes.
And no.
Yeah. You need to read your Bible.
This should never have happened like this.
Right.
If there's a situation that needs to be worked out, if you guys are part of the Southern Baptist Convention, get your own courts. You have a committee.
Yeah. Right.
Figure this out.
Paul has
some words for you. Paul has some words for you.
Get your own courts. So I think if there's a civil issue,
if there's a crime,
the crime is being dealt with.
It can be adjudicated in civil court
by our government.
Yes.
The person who committed the crime has been handed over to the government, and they're dealing with it. That's not what this is about.
Right. This is specifically about
damages.
Suing
to the victim.
A brother suing a brother. This is what it's about.
The person who's responsible for the crime is the one who needs to be.
Yeah.
They
paying for the damages.
They did everything that they were supposed to do. Didn't they have a ministry working for them in the same way?
Yeah. It's another Christian ministry called Ministry Safe.
Yes. No.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I mean, so Paul says, dare any of you having a matter against a brother, another, go to law before the unjust and not before the saints.
Yeah.
Do you dare?
Yeah, keep going.
Do you not know that the saints shall judge the world, and if the world shall be judged by you, are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Know you not that we shall judge angels, how much more things that pertain to this life? If then you have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are least esteemed in the church. And I speak to your shame.
That's right.
Is it so that there is not a wise man among you? No, not one that shall be able to judge between his brethren. But brother goes to law with brother, and that before unbelievers.
Read your Bible, believe what it says. That's why we get along, guys.
Now, therefore, there is utterly a fault among you because you go to law one with another. Why do you not rather take a wrong?
That's what.
Why do you not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? Nay, you do wrong and you defraud, and that your brethren. Okay, that's the deal, and that's our appeal to the Denhollanders is guys. that was the whole controversy between her and Matt when we played those kind of things back and forth. Was Matt followed a number of protocols, but there's this like unwritten protocols. Yeah. Like, no, you got to do it this way. Show me the verse.
Yeah.
Well, show me the verse.
And the other issue was they were telling two different stories. They both had different facts or different stories that they were telling, and it's like this. You guys are contradicting each other. Someone is not telling the truth here.
So don't we have wise men in the SBC?
You would think.
Don't we have godly men in the SBC?
Definitely got a president of the SBC.
Yeah.
We got a committee in the SBC.
Right.
Yeah, but he doesn't. You can vote Democrat or Republican. It doesn't matter.
But here's the thing, though. When it comes to this issue, it's better to be wrong.
Yes. Rather be defrauded
than to take this to the pagans.
Right.
To let them judge the situation.
Why feed this mess of injustice?
And that's not saying we don't want this thing to be taken care of.
Oh, no.
Absolutely want this thing to be taken care of.
And we don't know all the facts. We're just saying we need to follow biblical justice. This is life. This is freedom. But the fact that we can't do this, this is why we still have the plague of the murder of abortion on our land. Yeah. Yeah. This is why we have such sexual immorality and pride parades in our streets. Right. Because Christians are not being faithful to God's word.
Speaking of which, David, you wanted some swag?
Yeah, what'd you get?
You gotta open that
What'd you get? What'd you get?
It's the one of, brother, and it's all yours now.
Oh, man.
My plantation, my choice.
Oh, man.
I think you should be wearing this, actually.
No, you take it.
If you're single, get married. If you're married, have kids. And if you have kids, go baptize them. Until Sunday, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is Cross Politic.
Hey, thanks for being on, Si.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's go get some heads turned.
You gonna wear that?
Yes, I am. The next time we show